TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And as promised, I am going to spend a few episodes in December talking about wines that I feel, personally, maybe not everybody agrees with me, but that doesn't matter. Maybe you don't agree with me. That's your prerogative, right? I mean, let's get over here in the middle of the camera. Anyway, I think about wines that I would pop out for. This is for prime rib, not for ham. I think we touched on ham. Oh yeah, of course, with the Nebbiolo, of course. That would be a great ham wine. A lot of people like it. A lot of you like to do Christmas ham. I'm a prime rib guy, especially Christmas time. I've never been a ham guy. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to say why. I've never been a ham guy. Anyway, I'm watching the camera because I'm like, it's just a little off center. That's okay. I hope you don't mind that at all. One of the things that came to my mind, one of the things that I really like to do with prime rib is Petite Sirah. Petite Sirah. Yes. It's big. It's tannic. It's, I mean, I remember back in the day, Stag's Leap, which we are going to taste today. Stag's Leap used to get me right back here. The blueberry, the high acid blueberry used to get me right back and just make the back of my ears twinge. And I remember that, and we were having it with, I can't remember what we were having it with. The meal doesn't stand out to me as much as the experience with the wine. But I believe that Stag's Leap, or not Stag's Leap, Petite Sirah would go well with prime rib. I know it would, because it's big, it's bold, it's sassy, it's snappy, it's all of those things that you want with a big prime rib with all that fat and spices on it and all of that thing. So I'm very excited to do this episode to taste these Petite Sirahs. Petite Sirah is also referred to as Durif, D-U-R-I-F. So they can be called either, but we are most familiar with Petite Sirah. The dude that combined Syrah, so it is related to Syrah. It is not Syrah. It's related. Pollinated a Plowerson and came up with Petite Sirah. Plowerson, it's a grape it's almost extinct. It's a grape you'll never probably ever hear of, except for when people are talking about Petite Sirah. It was brought into the United States, into America, in the 1880s by a dude named Charles MacIver. Not MacGyver like MacGyver on the TV, M-C-I-V-E-R. So it was introduced to the United States. You do not hear about Petite Sirah very often outside of the United States. They do some in Australia, but really, of course they mess with it in France, but they do not, very rarely will you ever see a varietal called Petite Sirah outside of the U.S. It has become quite popular in Central California, Napa, and Sonoma. And so, it's like Zinfandel. It is pretty much identified with the United States, although you may see Durif in some other countries, which is also Petite Sirah. So we're going to get started right now. The last episode I did with Nebbiolo. By the way, thank all of you for watching that. It was very cool. I got some nice comments about the episode. I really appreciate it. And some people subscribed to the channel recently. That's awesome. Thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed these. Let's get started. Now you notice I have these in decanters. Now I don't do that a lot because I like to do these shows the way I think most people will drink their wines, which is they'll uncork it, they'll pour it in a glass, and they'll drink it. That's the way a lot of you do it, which is okay. It's okay. But I do encourage you at times when you're doing Bordeaux, or in this case Petite Sirah, or maybe doing some big-ass cabs from California, you might want to break out something. It doesn't have to be these. I have a whole bunch of like little decanters. I think this was a gift. This was a gift. I mean, they're all gifts. What can I say? I didn't buy these. You can pour them in a mason jar. You can pour them in a Kool-Aid pitcher. I don't give a shit what you put them in. Just throw them in something, splash them around, give them a little shake like that. It just helps them to open up a little bit, that's all. It enhances your wine drinking experience. So I've decanted all of these, which is a pain in the ass because then I gotta clean the decanter. So anyway, for the sake of YouTube, I'm doing that. I do decant my wines when they're like this. I mean, I would be tempted to decant all of these wines. So let's get started. This is the 2015 Old Soul from Oak Ridge Winery. Old Soul, Petite Sirah, Lodi, California. And this rolls in at $12 US. 2015 Old Soul, Petite Sirah. There you go. Get my hand out of the way. Hopefully you can see that. There you go. Old Soul. We sell quite a bit of their Zinfandel. So this is this decanter. I'm going to, actually, you know what I'm going to do? Give it a little rinse out of the bottle. Oh, I want to make a little correction on that Longue Rosso from Vira Winery. I mentioned that it was Nebbiolo. I looked at Wine Searcher. I must have looked at the wrong wine. It said 100% Nebbiolo. It's actually a field blend. They have a little Dolcetto, a little Barbera in there. Just a little correction. It is primarily Nebbiolo, so no harm, no foul, right? But I really, 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 really hate it when somebody points out to me that I got it wrong, because these are educational. I want them to be as close to accurate as possible. So I apologize. The Vira, I think I said Vieira, but Vira Longue Rosso has a little Dolcetto and Barbera and a splash of other grapes in it. So just to bring you up to date on that one. All right, Old Soul, Petite Sirah. Let's see what we get on the nose. So I get a little caramel, blueberries, little tobacco and licorice. This one smells big. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to pull out the flashlight because remember I told you the lighting here is not that great. There's no lights like right over my head, which makes it kind of tough. So this is, there we go, little flashlight action. Okay. I'm looking for the alcohol content. It'll be much easier. This is 13% alcohol, not bad. There's a 1% variation or 1.5%. So this could be 14, but it smells big and juicy. Licorice, blueberries, caramel, a little bit of black raspberry. Let's see what we get on the palate. Actually, I'm very pleasantly surprised. It smelled big, very light. Not light, don't get me wrong, it's not light, but it dances lightly on the palate. Lots of blueberries and raspberries, tons of them. I mean, tons. But they're not too fruity, they're not too over the top, they're nicely balanced. The acidity is there, but it's not heavy. It's not like a spine of acidity that pop you in the mouth with acid. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of chocolate coming through, and a little bit of cinnamon. This is a very, very interesting and cool Petite Sirah. Yeah, in fact, the raspberry kind of mingles with a little bit of licorice right on the back end. A little softer than I expected, but that being said, I would not have a problem pulling out the prime rib and doing this wine It has enough solid juiciness and weight. You know, actually, yes, you could do this prime rib. I would prefer this with lamb, which I'm having tonight. Tonight, I'm having lamb. I'm going to drink this with lamb. When you look at a lot of recommendations for Petite Sirah, it will say lamb on it. I just like the whole prime rib Petite Sirah idea. This would do it perfect with lamb. I can see this going very nicely with lamb. I can see this actually going with ham. Just saying. Even though this, see, that's why I'm doing this. I'm even learning. I've never tasted old soul Petite Sirah, so how do I know? This would actually go with lamb. It's soft enough. It has that good raspberry kind of blueberry thing going on. I would do this with ham. I'd also do it with prime rib. It wouldn't bother me a bit, but it would be better with lamb or ham. Got me? No, I like this one. I like this wine quite a bit. Yeah, the licorice notes just penetrate front to back with the raspberries and the blueberries. Nice wine. Now, I do not carry this at King's Market, where I work now, but I will, because I really like this wine. I think the price is right. It's making me salivated just a little bit. Yeah, anyway. You get the idea. Sometimes my brain gets stuck. I just can't say it. It's making me drool, is basically what I'm trying to say. Okay, anyway, great wine. I'm gonna go straight up B on this wine. I think it's good. I think it's a solid wine. I think it'd be great with ham, lamb. You could do it with prime rib. But if you're doing ham, go that way. Let's move on. Okay, now we're on to it's been forever since I've never tried this one either. The 2013 Girard Petite Sirah Napa Valley. Breaking out the flashlight. I hope this doesn't bother you guys. This one rolls in at 14.5 alcohol. Now it's funny, you know, the one from Lodi, it's less alcohol than this one. This rolls in at $35. And that's the thing with Petite Sirahs, they can demand some money. Now I forgot to mention that they blend a little bit of Merlot with this Petite Sirah. Okay, just a little bit, not much. Forgot to mention that. And with Girard, it's a little bit of Zinfandel, believe it or not. $35. Let's see what we get on. Oh. Close up. There you go. I'm excited to try this. I've never tried Girard Petite Sirah. Let's see what we get on the nose. Interesting. This is a little funkified on the nose. I'm getting a little stink action on the nose, which I find very interesting, as us wine geeks do. Oh, down to the mustache. So I had No Shave November. Went down to the goatee. I think that was on my Nebbiolo episode. Down to just the stash. Then pretty soon I'll be clean once again. I like the stash thing. What do you think? What do you think? I kind of like it. I like it. Get a lot of chocolate on this one. Tons of chocolate, actually. Like that bittersweet chocolate. A little bit of bark action on this one. Did I pour? I think I did. Oh, you guys are just, what, he's dumping all that out? Nice. I poured it out of the bottle. Old habit. That's okay. It's okay. Calm down. It's all right. There wasn't that much wine. So I'm getting bark. Lots of chocolate. This is very curious to me. Burns my nose hairs a little bit. almost like chocolate-covered blueberries on top of bark. That's what I'm getting. Let's see what we get on the palate. Now we're talking spicy. I mean, this is a spicy wine. Black pepper, white pepper. It's just penetrating, which comes from the oak, by the way. For those of you who are, you know, when we say spicy, when they put it in oak barrels, American or French, it contributes a spiciness to the wine. That's why they put it in oak. It's like any baker, any chef, when he's cooking a dish, he adds spices to that meal to make it appealing to the people drinking or eating the food. With wine, it's oak. Oak treatment gives it a spiciness. This is a spicy wine, which makes me think prime rib. I mean, I would love to have this wine with prime rib. Absolutely. Wow. Ooh, a little tannic grip on the backside. Again, chocolate-covered blueberries, front to finish. Solid structure. This is a structured wine. A little bit of interesting, like, it reminds me of a little bit of, like you're chewing on a little bit of alfalfa, older alfalfa on the backside, but not strong. Just subtle alfalfa flavors. Some raspberry notes come through. This is a solid wine. I mean, in the sense, when I say structure, I mean, you can tell, like the Old Soul is good, a little lighter, danced lightly on the palate. This has a more serious nature on the palate. A little grip action. I feel like I got a little sandpaper action on my tongue, on the backside. Now with food, if you had a nice slab of prime rib and you were eating it and drinking this, absolutely no problem. No problem whatsoever. That would go away. You wouldn't even get that sandpaper. But because I don't have any food in front of me, you know, I'm getting it. The chocolate just kind of keeps going. And it almost like, yeah, you know what it reminds me of? Like a semi-sweet, alfalfa-flavored chocolate bar, if you can picture that. With, you know, those little blueberries in it. That's what I'm getting. It's got a meatiness to it too. It reminds me, Syrah tends to be a little bit meaty, like roasted meats. This has a little bit of that kind of roasted meat action. Not smoky though. I mean, there's just a very slight edge, you know, like if somebody just got a little bit of smokiness in the barbecue on their prime rib. That's what it reminds me of a little bit. Solid wine, 35 bones. I'm going to go B+. I think it's, you know, definitely Old Soul for the money is a B wine, but for the money, this is a B+ wine. I like it a lot. I think that would be definitely a great prime rib wine. Let's move on. All right. So I'm going to rinse with this. Now we're going on to this is kind of the guy that got it all started with Petite Sirah. I mean, this is one I was talking about where he got me right behind the ears. Crazy. So rinse. Okay. This is the 2014 Stag's Leap Petite Sirah, Napa Valley. Their first vintage was in 1893, if you can believe that. It's crazy. I'm just going to look at the alcohol content. Okay. 14.2. I don't do that a lot, but these guys... now, Little Merlot with this one, a little Zen. This one has a little GSM action behind it. It's co-fermented with Viognier. They do that to bring out the bouquet of the wine. And then they add a little Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre to this one. Here we go, Stag's Leap. This rolls in at $41. Let's see what we get on the nose. Stag's Leap, man, they've been doing it a long time. A lot of you are very familiar with Stag's Leap. In fact, it's probably in this price range, in this varietal, my #1 selling wine. Absolutely. Robert Parker, I think he gave this 94 points, if you're into that sort of thing. Now this is chocolate all day. Very curious about these having those chocolate tones coming through them. Yeah, this reminds me of a little chocolate, blueberry, raspberry, more raspberry than blueberry. A little vanilla coming through, which is from the oak as well. I'm getting a little tobacco too coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. Once again, solid structure, a lot of white pepper on the finish. I'm getting a little currant action on this one. A little currant, black raspberry, not so much blueberry, tobacco, solid structure. The tannins are a little tighter on this one. This one is probably very youthful. It feels a little tight, but that being said, you've slapped down a big, nice, fatty piece of roast beef on this one, and you are going to get a different experience. I like it. I like it. I like it for prime rib. I really do. You can feel those tannins just kind of tighten up on the finish. Needs food. Big time. Needs food. Not getting the whole thing in the back, which is kind of curious. Tobacco just lingers. Tobacco and chocolate and currant notes just linger with a little bit of black raspberry. Solid wine. Solid wine. 41 bucks. I'm going to give it the same score as Girard. I'm going to go B+, because I think it doesn't show so much more than Girard that I would be willing to go to the A- side. I think it's a very solid B+ wine, which is a great grade. I mean, any one of us would like to graduate high school with a B+ average. Well, I'm sure some of you, were A students. That's great, honestly, great. But B+, pretty good, if not awesome. Like these wines a lot. Both of these great prime rib. Good prime rib wine, but I would lean towards ham on this one or lamb. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day to watch this. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.